morning. I'm not sure what day and time you are accessing this video, but for me, it is New Year's Eve day 2020. I think there's enough said about that. And maybe it was the fact that it was New Year's Eve day that got me thinking, what do I want my priorities to be? What do I want to focus on 2021? And I was also taking a walk this morning thinking about it, and I was reflecting on a conversation that I had with my son yesterday about motivation. And so all of these different puzzle pieces kind of came together for me to give you this little free gift on New Year's Day Eve. Because I'm pretty motivated, but I haven't always been, and my son is kind of going through some things right now, and so we were just kind of coming up with this idea of where does motivation come from? And that really inspired me this morning when I did a Jaunt with Jen. And if you don't know what a Jaunt with Jen is, you can check out my other website, Jennifer M. Engel, ENGEL.com, and check out the Jaunts with Jen, or you can check out my YouTube video. Basically what they are is, for about a year now, I have naturally woken up. It depends. Could be anywhere from like midnight at the earliest, although that's pretty rare. A general average for me is about 3 in the morning. I get up and I go downstairs and I might do some writing or reflection, and then I go take a walk. And it's kind of funny, I was actually pulled over by the cops once for walking at 3 in the morning, because they're probably like, what is this strange lady doing? But we had a good old time talking. Turns out he was a former student of the school district that I work for, so it's all good. But many times what will happen when I'm on my walk, one of 3 things. One, I'll just kind of walk. I might also listen to maybe like a spiritual podcast or something like that. I might have like these kind of like revelations or things that I'm thinking about that I like to share with other people, because I do believe that the more we share with each other, the more we learn. And even if it just helps one person or starts a conversation, I think that's awesome. And then sometimes I might actually get a feeling or a vibe in the air, and I might kind of do a little mini energy report of what I feel. So that's what a Jaunt with Jen is. It could be kind of like a little hodgepodge of things. And the topic came up like, what is motivation and where does it come from? So that was what my Jaunt with Jen was today. And if I can remember, I will put the link below in case you want to hear that. So with those, it's not like a video, me talking. The purpose of those is maybe to encourage you to do your own jaunts, or just turn on YouTube and listen to it, like similar to a podcast, rather than you having to like sit and watch. Most of the time I just throw some nature photos in there and kind of use it like a picture while I'm talking. But the whole purpose of that is just to listen, not really to watch. But hopefully maybe to comment a little bit if you'd like to as well. But then, as I was thinking about motivation, I could almost kind of like hear a little question in my mind, like, well, what if I don't have motivation? You know, 2020 kind of sucked in a lot of different ways. And I have been hearing a lot of people losing motivation as we're stuck in our homes, not really able to go out too much. And so that reminded me that within my book, I also did what if I'm not motivated? So excuse me if I kind of look at my notes today. There are 6 points. I will try to talk to you like I'm having a conversation, but sometimes I might look at my notes just to kind of remind me of what I'm going to say. So this section falls within, I believe it is tool and habit number 4, which is basically trying to develop a will to work. And so I kind of talk about why we want a will to work in tool and habit 4, and hopefully this book will come out very soon. But we are trying to make it the best book possible and not a piece of garbage. So that's why it's taking longer than I thought. But anyway, so I kind of go through like how, like why you want a will to work, how that really helps you. And then again, when I was writing the book, I kind of heard, well, what if I don't have a will to work? And I'm like, I can actually resonate with that. So for those of you who don't know me, I was born with spina bifida. It was mild. It didn't really affect me or my family mildly, but really specifically in 2014, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had to go through 21 rounds of chemotherapy. I had a double mastectomy. I lost all my hair. And then like 30 to 31 days of radiation. So there were definitely some days where I did not have a will. It was really, really hard, even just to get out of bed. One, just because I was so tired, I was depressed, I lost everything that made me a woman, or I just felt like shit. Like your energy's just drained, you're bloated, your stomach might be hurting. It's just not a pretty sight. And so you lose your will to really have any motivation whatsoever. So then I went back and it's like, how did I get from there to here, where I'm like actually pretty peppy, happy, my hair is finally grown back, you know, I've got a glow again. So ladies, I'll probably post this on some breast cancer survivor sites to maybe hopefully help you out as well. Look at me as your possible future. There is hope. You're not going to stay in that place for long. And that might actually be one of the things that you think about when I get to one of my tips and tricks. So let's start. If you have no motivation whatsoever, area number 1 is develop a daily schedule. Now, when I'm in my high place, we have these daily schedules. They kind of keep us busy, and there's a difference between developing a daily schedule when you're in your high place and developing your daily schedule when you are in your lowest possibility state. A daily schedule for your lowest possibility state is I got out of bed, I brushed my teeth. Like, choose one, and if you can do one thing, try to do a second thing. Like, try to do as many things as you can as possible. So develop a daily schedule. So for me, it was like, I need to take a bath. I'm not gonna lie, there were some days it was hard. I literally rolled out of bed. I literally crawled across the floor. You know, you're half lying on the tub. You slip in, you get a little clean, and maybe you just crawl back to bed, and that's your win. That was your daily schedule for the day, okay? And on the days I couldn't do a daily schedule, the other biggest thing is just forgive yourself. You're in a spot right now, and it's okay. But just try to do a daily schedule, okay? If you're not in like a severe medical thing right now, but maybe you've experienced depression or whatever, my other tool or tip is going to be go see doctors and counselors and things like that, okay? Because 10 years ago or whatever, somebody did tell me my thyroid was off and my mind was off and I wasn't making the best decisions, if I'm gonna be really open and honest about that. But as soon as I started taking my thyroid meds, poof, my mind, my vision, my behavior just got a lot clearer and a lot better. So go get a physical if you need to, work with a counselor, work with a psychiatrist. If you have been doing that and you're still not feeling well, go get a second, a third opinion, okay? So tool and habit number 1, get a little physical if you need to, or just develop a daily schedule. Just do as much as you possibly physically, emotionally can. And on the days that you can't, you forgive yourself, okay? All right. Tip number 2 for if you have no motivation. And I kind of alluded to this in my previous talk just now. What you want to do is you want to gather as many quotes and positive things around you as possible. So for me, I just kind of talked about one. It's by Dr. Martin Luther King, and I'll probably throw it right up here about now. And it's, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. Like I told you, I literally rolled out of bed and crawled to the bathroom. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. And then of course, there's the nice little Dory. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. Okay, so those are my 2 favorite. And I have another one. I can't actually put, like, I might actually do like a little pic or something right here. So I'm gonna try to do my best Rocky Balboa impersonation. All right, this is one of my all-time favorite quotes, and it really got me through things like that. And I will put the link down below, though, where you can actually see Rocky do this and not me, okay? Let me tell you something that you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody ain't gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how much you can take. That's how winning is done. So yeah, I really love that quote when I was going through cancer. I'm like, it's not about how much I can just keep going forward. I mean, who's not gonna be inspired by Rocky? I also just love Sylvester Stallone because, you know, he had a learning disability, and that's also what I really love about his first movie. He addresses it head on, and then he used his body to overcome, to find motivation for things that, you know, kind of held back his motivation. So win-win on that one. All right, area number 3. There are days you're not gonna have it. There are days you're gonna be sad, depressed. There are days you're not gonna be able to do anything for yourself. And on those days, you have to rely on other people. So we live in this world that tells us we need to be independent. We need to achieve things on our own. And a lot of that is true, but what I've also learned is that we live in a world of juxtaposition, where both things, even if they are opposite, can coexist in the same place and space at the same time. So on one hand, we really want to be a puzzle piece within this collective consciousness, but that's what we are. A puzzle piece. A whole puzzle doesn't just stand alone from one little piece. A puzzle piece is meant to fit with the whole. So there were days I did not have joy. There were days I couldn't do the dishes, and I had to rely on other people until I finally got to that place where I could do the dishes again, where I could hold my own joy again. Now, with that said, you can't end up being like codependent forever. You still need to be a part of the plan and a part of the puzzle as the whole. So while other people might have been holding on to my joy for me, holding on to my hope, while other people might have been taking care of my family while I was trying to get through cancer, I also had to do my part. I had to try to bathe myself on the days when I could. I had to try to do 2 things the next day, 3 things the day after that. And it was my responsibility to try to gather as many quotes as possible, or to try to accept the gifts and the words of encouragement. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be doing my part as well. So on the days where you lose motivation, sometimes you let other people hold it for you until you can do it yourself. Okay? All right. Area number 4. I found an interest and I shared it with others. A lot of times what I'm finding is that your weakness can become your strength. When I was in high school, I loved writing, I loved reading, but I would get D's and F's on my papers. And the only paper that I ever got an A on was the meaning of life, which basically in the end I said, I don't know, I'm only 16 or 17. Come back to me when I'm 40 and then maybe I'll have the answer for you. I got an A on that one. But also a lot of times what made us weak is also what makes us strong. So I was just trying to figure out how to handle and deal with cancer. And so I started a blog on caringbridge.org. And I had people follow that. And then people told me that even though they weren't going through cancer, the things that I was sharing was helping them with their hard times or whatever. And so that gave me the idea to take that and to actually put it into a book. I'm part of a writers group, and now, just by sharing my experiences, how I got through, that added value to my life and it added value to others. Not that you have to write, not that you have to vlog. I know some people who cook or who code or who fix cars or whatever, fill in the blank, but find something and then share it with others, because that will add value to your life and it will add value to theirs as well. Okay, and it just adds value to life, like a bank account, if you will, and you can grow it. It doesn't just stay the same, it actually grows if you take care of it. So, in order to find motivation, find an interest. And if you don't know, try a couple different ones, go to your local community park, get their little brochure, sign up for Meetup on your app, type in some things you're kind of interested in, try it, okay? That was another thing. I also started to learn about and study entrepreneurship as well, and I also did download Meetup, and it gave me a lot of great ideas to learn, to just keep myself busy, because that leads me to area 6. So many people live what I call outside in. And I don't care if you're spiritual or whatever. I am coming more and more to the fact that both are true. But I literally moved from outside in, where I let all of my circumstances kind of tell me who I was and how I should feel and how I should behave and blah, blah, blah. And I moved inside out. There was actually a lot of gifts in cancer. I'm not gonna lie, it really sucks when you're going through it. But, it also gave me, some of the things that I would write about when I would blog is I would say, find the miracle in the mud, find the diamond in the rough. There's always a lesson. To me, the lessons are almost just as equal as the pain. So even though I was going through an excruciatingly painful situation, I gained that much insight, if not more, in return. So it really made me go inside. And sometimes people who are doing this, they withdraw from people around them. And that, whatever, but it's a cocooning process, okay? And when they're doing that, they're literally probably starting to, I don't know if you know about caterpillars. I just learned about this. I didn't learn that they basically liquefy themselves or something. It's a tricky process, but you literally die to yourself. And then when you come out, you are reborn much more beautiful, much more stronger. That's when I really started living from the inside out. I started realizing I have the control. I have the power. Nobody else around me does. They can talk to me, they can do anything they want to me, but ultimately it is my job to say I agree, I disagree, and that's also where some very valuable questions that I actually live my life by came from. when I interact with somebody, anything, whether it's a phone or music or people, there's so many people like vying for your attention and telling you who and what you should be and all these other things. It's like, does this resonate with me? Does this make me feel good, or does it not make me feel good? Okay. Is this making me functional or dysfunctional over time? Is it giving me more energy or less energy over time? Those are my 3 questions I really think about when I interact with anything. Okay. So I started living inside out. I started taking the perception, and then I would finally start saying, I agree with this, I don't agree with this, which I think is going to lead me to, also, when you live inside out, the other things that I would do is I would really practice meditation and visualization. I would learn, and I did another YouTube video on that, so I'm gonna put that below as well, okay? So living inside out. You can do this through meditation, visualization, mindfulness, learning. You can do it by starting to just ask questions. How does this make me feel? Does it give me more energy? Does it make me tired? Does it make me happy? Does it make me functional over time? So really just kind of start waking up, asking questions, reflect about your life, and understand that I have the ultimate personal power, which meant that I took responsibility for all the choices and everything that was happening around me at all times. Yes, people can act a certain way, but it's my choice to either stay there, back off. It's my choice to participate in or not participate in. I don't have to wait for anyone. I can find and make my own happiness. And I'll be honest, there are still some days I wake up, even this morning, and I'm like, New Year's Eve, 2020. Now what? Da, 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 da. And so I basically have a lot of these things on autopilot. I have my own schedule. I'm like, well, I'm going to get up. I'm going to do my learning, and I'm going to go for my walk. And when I was on my walk, I started to feel better. And then I started to reflect, and then I started to create. That's another thing that can make you feel better. Create something. I don't care what it is. Create a recipe, create, a piece of art. Even if it sucks, you're at least creating, And then when I started to create, I felt better. And then that spawned this, and so on and so forth. So sometimes just by starting out, getting your day going, that's what I found. When I started living inside out, things just started to flow. Even if I didn't know how they were gonna flow in a positive direction in the morning, and this took practice, I learned to just trust the process. Do my schedule. And as soon as I start doing my set schedule, I started to develop this flow. Even on the mornings when I don't feel like, is it there? I generally find if you keep going, if you set your schedule, if you gather positive things around you, if you work with other people, if you share your gifts and talents, and if you live from the inside out where you have more control than anyone else, then you will find motivation. I hope that this talk has helped someone today so that you can use your own motivation, your own tips, tools, the uniqueness that you are to first help yourself and then to help others around you. Because now more than ever, the world desperately needs that, and it needs you. Peace and blessings.